Okay, Premier League action. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, again, it's that story. I told y'all, I said it. You cannot count your you cannot count your chickens before the egg is hatched. Okay? And I'm referring, in this case, I'm referring to Arsenal. It's again a disaster for Arsenal, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? So, right at Craven Cottage, Arsenal, Fulham 2, Arsenal 1. I repeat, Fulham 2, Arsenal 1. Disaster once again for Arsenal. It's now back-to-back defeats for the North London side, the Gunners. And they seem to be struggling against their London rivals. On Thursday night, they lost 2-0 at home to another London rival, West Ham United. And now they've lost 2-1 to another London rival, Fulham, at Craven Cottage. So let's get straight into that game. Fulham came from behind to beat Arsenal by 2-1, right? And what does that result mean, actually? If you look at the entire complexion of the Premier League title chase currently, that means that Arsenal will remain in fourth after they missed out on a chance to go to the top of the table. You understand? Because victory right now at Craven Cottage would have meant that Arsenal were going to go above Liverpool, Manchester City, as well as Aston Villa at the summit of the Premier League table. It would have been a repeat of last season because Arsenal led the table at Christmas last season and as well as in the New Year. But again, they seem to be messing up again. They're messing up. I mean, if you look at this game, I don't know, man. I'm not sure as to whether Arsenal, I still recognize Arsenal as the title challengers, as a team that really deserves to win the title. After this performance against Fulham, this was just a horrendous display from the Gunners. Horrendous, to say the least. And I'm even glad that Mikel Arteta shares my sentiment, that he says that Arsenal, this is like their worst performance of the season, and I couldn't agree with him anymore. It is indeed Arsenal's worst performance of the Premier League season, this current season, because, oh man, they were horrendous, man. Despite the fact that they did score in the opening 5 minutes of the game, which was a goal scored by Bukayo Saka, and that was basically a lucky goal because from a counter-attack, Gabriel Martinelli made a darting run on the left-hand side as always. That's basically his style of play, cutting onto his favorite right foot, forcing a great shot, which his curling shot was saved by former Arsenal goalkeeper Bernard Leno. And after that save from Bernard Leno, it just dropped straight into the path of Bukayo Saka, who obviously slotted the ball into the back of an empty net. That's Bukayo Saka's 6th Premier League goal of the season, this current season. He has got 6 Premier League goals this season and 6 assists. So basically he has got 12 goal contributions in about 19 appearances in the Premier League this season. So yeah, he's been on fine form for the Gunners, but yeah, man, him and Martinelli they were not clicking in this game. Apart from that, they were just not clicking in this game. They just did not give Arsenal much in attack, because from that point onwards, Arsenal were very poor, if I tell you. They were very poor. Very poor. From that point onwards, Fulham actually created the better of the chances. Fulham were actually the team that showed more intent in terms of wanting to get the equalizer and actually wanting to win this game. Yes, they conceded an early goal, but they were actually showing more intent in wanting to score and getting their name on the score sheet. You understand? And actually secure all 3 points, a much needed 3 points at home at Craven Cottage. And eventually they did. Raul Jimenez almost got the equalizer, right? Unfortunately, that was a great save once again, but then he was not to be denied for a second time round. That was a great cross by Fulham left back Anthony Robinson. What a great cross that was. And Raul Jimenez did so well. He did so well to actually stretch to turn the ball home on the far post, on the back post, actually to give Fulham a much deserved equalizer. For their efforts, for their determination to actually get back into the game. That was a deserved equalizer. And basically that's Raul Jimenez's 5th Premier League goal of the season. And basically that's now his 4th Premier League goal in 4 games, which is as many as in his previous 50 games. Remember, Jimenez, like, he went on a goal-scoring drought where he hadn't scored in a long time. You understand? That's why I mentioned this important statistic, saying that is, in as many of his previous 50 Premier League games. He went on a goal-scoring drought for, a certain period of time. I'm sure you guys might have remembered. Most of us thought that he's finished. Most of us thought that, a lot of people had written him off, to say the least. They thought, he's no longer that clinical striker that he used to be at Benfica, as well as in his first few seasons at Wolverhampton Wanderers, which did prompt the move for him to go to Craven Cottage at the beginning of the summer. And basically now that's also his 2nd goal against the Gunners. You remember he did score against the Gunners for Wolverhampton Wanderers about a few seasons ago. So yeah, that's his 2nd goal against the Gunners, and a deserved equalizer for them. And from that point onwards, Fulham were really dominant. They were really dominant, man. They were so dominant up until the halftime whistle. Already question marks were looming, saying, yo, what's going to happen? Will Arsenal take the lead again? Will they actually, come much stronger in the second 45 minutes of the game? Will they actually cement, their early league dominance, this season, by actually securing all 3 points at Craven Cottage? But then, hey, looking at the performance in the second 45 minutes of the game, the answer is a big no. The answer is a big no. The performance was very poor, man. To say the least, Arsenal were very poor in this game. It was very shocking. When I look at Saliba, they were exposed so much, Arsenal. Their defensive frailties were exposed. That combination between Saliba as well as Gabriel, it's such a reliable partnership, but they looked so frail. The both of them, they look so frail. They look vulnerable. They looked so vulnerable. I mean, even at left back, Arsenal was so vulnerable at left back. Understanding the fact that Zinchenko is injured, and they had to play that the Japanese defender at, and they also had to replace him as well. It shows that Arsenal have got a headache at left back. They do have a couple of options that they can recruit for that left back position. They can recruit certain players. There are so many players that Arsenal can recruit. Maybe they can recruit Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. That's a quality left back for me. Or even Alphonso Davies from Bayern Munich. Those are quality left backs for me. But of course, we all know that AC Milan as well as Bayern Munich would never let go of those players, right? Even we know there's Alejandro Balde from Barcelona, who has had a stellar season, who's excelling so much at that left back position. We actually know of perhaps even who else comes to mind when I think of a quality left back? A solid left back. Quite often I think of besides those 3 players that I just mentioned. Who else, by the way? Maybe even Freddie Mendy from Real Madrid. Freddie Mendy can also be another option, because currently he's not actually getting as much game time. But remember, due to the fact that David Alaba is injured, he's got an important role to play at Real Madrid. So I doubt Real Madrid will actually let go of him. There's several players that Arsenal can actually recruit for that left back position. But looking at the second half performance, they were exposed in defense. They lacked that killer instinct. They lacked that composure. They were giving away too many passes. But I think credit must go to Fulham once again, because Fulham were actually much more of a team that, they stuck to their guns. They stuck to the game plan. You understand? They were closing those spaces very well. We also saw some great combination play between the former Arsenal players, Alex Iwobi as well as Willian. Willian played an important role in this game. He was the one who actually, was involved in the first goal, actually setting up the run, setting up the run of Anthony Robinson on the left-hand side, who actually did find Raul Jimenez at the far post. Willian played an important role, and as we look at even from the resulting corner where the second goal did come for Fulham, the home side, it was Willian's corner kick that actually caused so much problems. I don't understand how Arsenal struggled to actually clear their lines. They struggled to clear their lines. It was just chaotic. It was messy in that box, and they were punished. Bobby the Cordova-Reid, he scored the winner to end that was now basically that winning goal by Bobby the Cordova-Reid was basically Fulham's end of 3 straight league losses without even scoring. You understand? Because coming into this one, remember Fulham went on a 3-match winless run. They lost their previous 3 games without even scoring a single goal. Despite the fact that they are now in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, they haven't had a consistent run in the Premier League this season, And look, this victory is very historic to them because now it's the first time they pick up a victory over Arsenal in over a decade. You understand? Last time they were able to clinch victory over the Gunners was in 2012. That was the last time they were able to beat Mikel Arteta's men in 2012. That is now over a decade. You understand? And it is a pivotal win for them because now Fulham are they can provide themselves with some breathing room because now they are in 13th position with 24 points, 9 points above the relegation zone. So they're pretty much safe. They just need to secure that 40 points in order to ensure that they avoid relegation and perhaps maybe aim for European ambitions, which is far, what can I say? Far too much ambitious. But look, they can avoid, relegation and can actually aim for safety by securing those much needed 40 points. And this was an important 3 points for them, And look, as for Arsenal, again, following this defeat, chances are Arsenal could actually be out of the top 4 altogether, following the winter break. As we all know, their bitter rivals, Tottenham Hotspurs, did, bounce back from that 4-2 defeat to Brighton Hove Albion by securing all maximum 3 points with a 3-1 victory over Bournemouth at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You understand? So now, which means that Spurs are just only a point behind Arsenal, and Spurs are in 5th. Only a point behind Arsenal. So if Spurs are to secure victory in their next encounter, then they're in the top 4. Arsenal is out of the top 4 altogether until they have to play their next game, and which means Arsenal have to win their next game. And another important statistic to take into great consideration is the fact that Arsenal have now dropped 11 points in December. Throughout the month of December, Arsenal have dropped 11 points, which was precisely the month in which they needed to actually, press on. Capitalize on the fact that Manchester City was struggling. Liverpool, yes, they messed up here and there. They drew with Man United, you understand, and Man City were on FIFA Club World Cup duties. The fact that also Tottenham Hotspur were messing up here and there. This was their chance to actually press on and go for the kill and capitalize on the fact that their rivals, their fellow title challengers, were on an on and off run. They were on an inconsistent run. You understand? They were struggling. Arsenal was supposed to capitalize and they didn't do that. And considering the fact that Arsenal have invested heavily in the summer, more especially with Declan Rice as well as Kai Havertz. But however, they are now 10 points worse off after 20 games compared to last season. And funny how in this particular encounter against Fulham, it could have even been worse for Arsenal. Because what I would eventually say and demonstrate to y'all is that Arsenal were very fortunate not to lose William Saliba to a red card, because that was a clear pull on substitute Harry Wilson. That was a clear pull. That was a clear red card because it's a denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. It's the same thing that what happened in that game between Richards Bay as well as SuperSport United, whereas the Nigerian defender who I did mention was sent off for a clear pull, you understand, on the Richards Bay striker. It was a clear pull and it was a red card. Same with this one. Saliba was supposed to be given his marching orders, right? But they were fortunate. Arsenal were very fortunate because Harry Wilson was clear on goal. He was clear on goal. That's denying of a clear goal scoring opportunity. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board for Arsenal. 2 defeats in 2. And they've only, which means that Arsenal have only won one game of their last Premier League games. That's how Arsenal end 2023, with only one victory in their last Premier League, 5 in their last 5 Premier League games. One victory in their last 5 Premier League games. That's the way Arsenal end 2023. It's back to the drawing board for them. Maybe perhaps they don't have a when I looked at also in the second half, I don't think Arsenal were actually the Arsenal players. They were not. The awareness was also very poor. Awareness from the players, because when you look at the man who had the ball, whenever Arsenal had the ball, whenever you check the man who was actually on the ball, I think I sincerely believe that most of the players, whenever they had the ball in that Arsenal team, their awareness was very poor. Reason why I say that is because you'd always see a player who's actually making, great movement of the ball. Like Nketiah. Nketiah did that several times. He made great movement of the ball several times, but he was not being picked out. He was not spotted. Again, Arsenal, poor awareness. Once again from Arsenal in this game. Poor awareness. Not actually spotting the runner. Not actually spotting the person who's in space. Because now, the more, once you do that, once you don't spot the runner, once you don't spot the player who's in space, it gives a chance for the opposition to actually close down those spaces. And now the chance is gone. Chance is gone. And I feel sorry for Arsenal because now with Manchester City, their key men are coming back. They're going to be returning soon. We saw Kevin De Bruyne was on the bench in the game against Sheffield United. Erling Haaland will be returning soon from injury. So, hey, it's going to be a tough, second half of the season, to say the least. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be pretty interesting. But hey, it's not over yet. It's not over yet for the Gunners. They can still do it, but yeah, they're going to really need a lot more. This is the performance that they really need to forget and put behind them and actually focus on the upcoming games and get a consistent run, get consistent performances. Give in more.